Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to go ahead and hop in. My name is Jeremy Pritchard. I'm with TrinDocs, and I'm joined by my friend Nicholas Jackson with TrendSoft. And we're going to be talking about Power BI today and the visibility that this great reporting tool gives to you. We're going to do an overview of Power BI on the whole, and we're going to talk more specifically a little bit about the AP automation reporting that is possible through TrendDocs. And then we're going to have some time at the end for some Q&A. So if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat at any moment. And we probably will not stop and answer them on the fly, but rather we'll accumulate them and come back to them at the end of the session. Of course, this is being recorded, so if you would like to pass it on to teammates, then you certainly can. But with that, Nicholas, please take it away.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Jeremy. As Jeremy mentioned, my name is Nicholas Jackson. I run our Power BI division here at TrendSoft. I've been doing Power BI for quite some time now, just past 3 years with TrendSoft here. I've been doing IT my entire career. I have a strong software background, done a little ERP consulting for a while, and now I'm focusing on Power BI, and I think it's a great fit. So I'm going to explain some of the common questions that I get about Power BI and try to provide some answers for those. So the first question is, what is Power BI? So Power BI is Microsoft's group and collection of software tools that allow you to take your data and turn it into actual information. So everybody knows just looking at a big old Excel spreadsheet of all of your data and all your sales numbers and information isn't necessarily a great way to get valuable information out of that. What Power BI does is it helps you analyze that data and take that raw data and turn it into actionable information and turn it into valuable insights that you can then make data-driven decisions off of. So taking sales as the most common example, taking that raw sales data and being able to analyze it so you can see top performing sales items, top performing sales people, time, a lot of the basic data analytics and metrics and measurement calculations that you're used to. So what problems does Power BI solve? Well, it solves quite a few problems. For the clients that we work with the most, the things that they really have issues with is visibility into their data. So let's say you're a manufacturer and you have PLCs, and those PLCs spit out data like crazy, right? A lot of them gather data all day long, and that's what they do. But a lot of times they'll just put that in CSV files. Or let's say you've got an ERP system where you're keying in lots of transactions and you've got thousands and tens of thousands of GL entries, but they just kind of sit there in your ERP without being analyzed at all. And so what Power BI does is it can connect to those underlying data sources and bring them to light and make them visible and easily accessible. So it's really a one-stop shop for a lot of people's access to their data. So other thing that it does is, like I said before, is take that data. Yes, we can just display it as a raw table. If you just want to have it as a plain old table and just want it to be refreshed on a regular basis, we can do that. But trying to pull out information from that and gain valuable insights. So a lot of people say, okay, I don't know necessarily where to start with Power BI. And so the problem is they don't know what they don't know. So there's maybe some missing visibility, and maybe they just want kind of a starting place for what Power BI can do. And so what we have and what we offer is a set of Power BI, what we're calling report packs, which are kind of groups of reports that we can connect to your data source that provide, just kind of based upon our experience with the industry, what people are interested in, what they care about based on different areas of the business. So let me show you one real quick here. This is our sales report pack. So this is inside of Power BI, and this is something that we sell to our clients and connects to Business Central, but we can connect it to any ERP. What this basically does is gives you a dashboard that's interactive and shows you information about sales in this case. We have them for AP, for AR, for inventory, manufacturing, really any area of your business. We have these reports, which are kind of your scanned, I don't know where to start reports, but this is also a good example of what Power BI can do. So here you got a nice dashboard that shows at a high level, we're looking at year-to-date sales versus last year-to-date sales, right? So we've got a nice line graph here. We've got our sales broken out by customer down here. We've got a simple listing of invoices. Again, just seeing a list of invoices for some people is nice because they don't have access to this data very easily or regularly from their ERP system. Over here, we got top 10 items by sales and a customer name filter, along with a date slider over here. So this is really nice. And this is something that you could, in theory, build with Excel or another reporting tool like that. But where Power BI really shines is the interactive nature of these reports. So it's not only that we build these custom dashboards, it's that, and provide this information, is that it's interactive and really lets you answer a lot more questions than what is just on this page. So let's say you're not just interested in year-to-date sales versus last year-to-date sales for the entire company and organization. What if you wanted to see that by a specific customer? So let's say Alpine Ski House, that's the customer that you're interested in. You can actually click on this bar here and you see everything else on the page adjusts to that filter. So it applies a filter of Alpine Ski House to the entire page. And so now you can see information, you can see all the same data and information, but just for Alpine Ski House. So previously, just looking at this as a whole, it's good high-level information, but we also provide the ability to drill down and get specific in terms of slicing your data in a specific way. So grouping it by customer, or if we want, we can group it by salesperson. So we can switch over here and look at year-to-date versus last year-to-date sales by salesperson, right? So whatever your data has, we can pull information out of. All right. So what value does it add to organizations? Power BI it's hard to answer without actually getting in there and trying it, but in our experience, a couple of things that it provides for organizations. First one is just access, ease of access to their data. A lot of people, because a lot of that data either lives deep in their ERP system or lives inside CSV files or Excel files or SharePoint lists. First of all, those are not easily accessible. And secondly, they're very siloed. So they live in individual systems and they don't share data sources, or they don't share a common platform. So let's say you've got Salesforce as your ERP, but you've got Sage, or Salesforce as your CRM, but you've got Sage as your ERP, and you want to combine that information, then we can do that inside of Power BI. So we can connect to multiple data sources, bring them into a single report, and show reporting off of those. Speaking of data connections and what we can connect to, if you've got a software application out there, odds are we can connect to it with Power BI. So if you want to look at the official list, there is an official list from Microsoft. You can search for Power BI connections and you'll come up with this list, but it is a very long list. So we could pull from flat files. So if you've just got Excel workbooks and you want to do something with that, great. Or if you're a little bit more advanced and you've got something like a Parquet format, we can do that. If you've got some kind of database, either you've got an on-prem application or some other specific software that uses a database in the back end, then we can absolutely connect to that. So SQL Server or Access, IBM, MySQL, lots of different options for connecting to those databases directly. Right, again, big long list here. Power Platform. So again, this connects well with other Microsoft products. So if you already use things like in the Dataverse with Microsoft CRM, we can connect to that very easily. Azure, if you have some Azure resources, so some blob storage, data lake storage, Cosmos, Databricks, anything like that, we can easily pull that. And then really another big section here, the last big section is the online services. So these are your hosted applications where you currently have a lot of data already. Power BI can connect directly to those and pull data from those. So we got all of the Dynamics products here. So we've got Nav, Business Central, Dataverse, things like that. but we've also got non-Microsoft products down here. So coming down here into, you want to pull it from QuickBooks or Zendesk or Automation Anywhere, Databricks, Funnel. I mean, really the list goes on and on of where we can pull data from. And even if it's not on this list, I've been able to pull data from software that wasn't officially supported by creating our own connector. So really, wherever your data lives, Power BI can pull it into one centralized data source and let you do an analysis on that to prevent having your data in silos and really bring it into one place. All right, and then the other big value, so the first value is just access and combining your data. The second one is allowing people to make intelligent business decisions. So when I say intelligent and informed business decisions, that means using data to back up decisions that are, or to help answer questions. So let's say you are a wholesaler and you want to determine what inventory levels you need to stock for an upcoming holiday season. Well, you could take a guess, and probably based upon your experience, you could probably make a decent guess into what has sold well previous years. But what if you could use the data to actually back up that decision and make a little bit more informed decision to stock the proper items during that holiday season? So that's just one example of how can we use our data to answer our questions. And that's really where a lot of value comes for our customers. So features of Power BI that are most popular, big ones, again, being able to pull and access your data. Another one here is subscribing to reports. So a lot of people are used to getting reports emailed to their inbox. You can do that with Power BI. Another popular one is the mobile app. So if you have, everybody has a mobile phone or a tablet. If you have Android or iOS, there is a free Power BI app that you get with your license. And that lets you access this exact report from your phone or from your tablet. And you can interact with it just like you would here in the browser. So if you're out on the shop floor and you want to check inventory of something, you can pull up your app and take a look at what that would be from your mobile app. Another popular feature is the ability to automate some of this data and kind of create triggers and actions off of it. So let's say you've got some piece of data that you monitor on a regular basis and you want to create some kind of alert, either an email alert or kick off some code that does something in another application based upon data that's tracked inside of Power BI, we can absolutely do that. So it's a really good starting point to get your data into, and then from there build actions and automations that push that information, push those alerts and triggers to other systems. And then there's also a very powerful metrics tracking feature as well. So this is popular for sales staff, for example. If you set sales targets for each one of your sales members, then you can track that over time. So you connect your sales data in Power BI, you create the information, the tracking of the data that you want, and then Power BI will automatically track it for you over time. You can set up metrics and milestones for it. You can assign it to people. They can have visibility for it. All sorts of things with powerful metrics. So lots of really neat features of Power BI. That's just a few of them. So next question people always ask, what's the cost of Power BI? Power BI is actually very reasonably priced. So like a lot of other Microsoft products, Power BI has a licensing model that is based on each user by month. So just like your Office subscription or anything else like that, Power BI Pro licenses, which is what we recommend for anybody who wants to access a report. This is the base kind of entry-level license. It is $12 per user per month. And really, that is incredible for the amount of software that you get. So that gives you access to the Power BI service, which lets you share reports, view it inside a web browser, things like that. That gives you access to the mobile app, access to the metrics, and access to ability or to share and create reports as well. So that's a really good starting point. It's $12 per user per month, or even just $10 with a 1-year commitment. So really, really good entry point and starting point for the price point. So Lastly, when we finish up, Power BI is a very popular tool. Go out there and you'll see there are dozens and dozens of consulting firms that do Power BI. You can even start with Power BI today if you wanted to. You can go out and download the software. You don't even have to pay anything to start using Power BI. You can just download the desktop application. So people may ask, okay, why choose TrinSoft? So why should TrinSoft help you with your Power BI? So a couple of reasons why. First of all, if you use TrinDocs, we at TrinSoft are a sister company with TrinDocs, and as you will see here in a minute, we have worked very, very closely with the TrinDocs team to create some initial reports based off of some TrinDocs data, and we also know the software very, very well. So we have worked right down the hall with TrinDocs developers. So if I have questions about the data, I can ask them. I've created many reports, many custom reports off of TrinDocs data. So really, we have the ability to jump in and be effective from day one because we don't need to learn the data for pulling and creating reports from TrinDocs. So that's a big one. Other big thing is we know Dynamics as well. So if you're a Business Central or really any Dynamics ERP, so Great Plains, Nav, Business Central on-prem, Business Central hosted. We know those systems inside and out. I did Business Central consulting for 2 years, so I'm very familiar with the software, still use it every day. So again, that gives us a leg up in knowing exactly being productive from day one, not needing to know the architecture of the organization. You give me where your BC tenant is hosted, I can start building reports for you. I can have something for you within the hour. So really able to hit the ground running. Lastly, TrinSoft has a large amount of experience with a wide variety of clients in a wide variety of industries. So we work with clients from churches and nonprofits to wholesalers in the firearm industry, to government contractors, to manufacturers, to platers, really lots of different industries we have experience with. So that means that since we have experience with all of those different types of clients, we know a little bit about all these different industries, and we know what is interesting to those people. So we can provide value by saying, hey, if you don't know where to start, here are some things that other clients have done. Here are some things that other wholesalers are really interested in, and really provide a good starting point and be able to jump in and talk to your guys' language, talk your language, whatever industry you're in. So there's a couple of reasons to choose TrinSoft for Power BI. If you have questions about Power BI or TrinSoft, feel free to reach out. My contact info is either going to be at the end of this or I'll drop it here in the chat. Feel free to give me a call or send me an email anytime. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. But one thing that's really neat and showcases what we've done in Power BI is what we have done for the TrinDocs team. So TrinDocs is a really good application and a really good use case for Power BI to help look at that data and really help you use the software efficiently. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to hand it over back to Jeremy, and he's going to talk a little bit more about the TrinDocs side.
All right, well, thank you so much, Nicholas. I appreciate that. And I would echo what Nicholas said in the fact that we work extremely closely together and have just a fantastic relationship. We are owned by the same parent ownership, and they happen to be accountants. And so we are an accounting solution building accounting solutions for accountants. And that's a real world situation, not some theoretical, I wonder if this would work situation. We know what we're doing. In our company, there are really three types of people. There are accountants, there are developers, and then there's just a few of us out there trying to sell the systems that we're talking about here. But to talk a little bit about TrinDocs and how we use Power BI, there are really 4 different reports in our AP automation package. Now, like Nicholas said, you can always do custom reports, and we do that quite frequently, but we also have kind of a best practice place for you to start. And that includes 4 reports. There's a days in queue report. There's one that shows you your user detail and kind of the licensing and roles. There's a report that shows you how effective your TrinDocs is working for you and kind of an automation score. And there's a report that shows you days to process and how long it's taking you to process certain things. So we're going to get into these a little bit more deeply one-on-one. Days in queue, this is a report that makes it easy to see all the information that you need to increase your approval processing time. Cash is king, and especially in an economy like this, if you're not watching your cash flow, then shame on you. There's no reason not to. With all the solutions that are available with TrinDocs, with Power BI, you can see things at the most granular level to make sure you understand how long are things sitting in people's queues, whether that's by your own users, or maybe that's by a certain document type or certain vendors. Power BI with TrinDocs gives you the visibility to know how long things are in queue, where things are going really quickly, where they're not, so that you can improve upon that. Also with TrinDocs, you'll be able to see user detail. So with the state of business today, employee turnover, unfortunately, is one of those things that is just a state of business. And so we want to make sure that you understand what licensing you have and how it's being used, so that as employees come and go, you can make sure that not only do you have the seats on the bus filled, but you have the right people in the right seats on the bus. And so TrinDocs uses Power BI to show you your users, how their roles are assigned, which users are active, which users are inactive, and just a very clear use of your licensing to make sure that you're maximizing the spend that you have with TrinDocs. Also, probably most importantly, users of TrinDocs come to us to automate their manual processes. And the question is always, well, what's the ROI on that? And the answer is it's extremely high. TrinDocs pays for itself in a matter of months, well under 1 year. Typically, we're in the 5-6 month range from earned savings, where our AP automation pays for itself. If you want to get more granular than that, one of the reports that we have in Power BI will actually show you how many manual interactions did it require to process this document. How many documents went through without anyone ever touching it? And you'll be able to see, again, at a user level, at a process level. We do more than just AP automation. If you have expense management or contract management, whatever the workflows are, you can see all the steps there. And then you can see that down to the individual steps of the workflow, so that you'll know where your bottlenecks are. You know where you need to focus educational opportunities for different users to keep things moving through. Again, the more that we can automate your processes, the more efficiencies you have in your business, the more profits drop to your bottom line. And then the last report that TrinDocs uses in our standard package, and again, you can do custom reports if you'd like, but in the standard package, the last report is a days to process time. Again, in the economy that we're in, cash is king. So you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of those early pay discounts when they're available. Also, you want to make sure that you're not getting hit with that 1.5% or 2% late fees. And if you're in a situation where you're wondering, well, am I getting hit with late fees, or are we taking advantage of these early pay discounts? You don't have to wonder about that. With TrinDocs Power BI, you're going to have great visibility to know exactly how your cash flow is moving, and you'll be able to really get in at the granular levels that you want to really drive your business, as opposed to just managing and reacting. Now, with all of those different reports, you can always drill down into individual documents and see audit trails, which are stamped down to the second, actually, by username for every interaction, whether that's an action that TrinDocs did for you automatically, or whether that's an action that one of your users needed to do input on. You're going to see both of those, and you're going to be able to see audit trails, whatever kind of detail you need at the document level as well. Since Nicholas did such a good job kind of giving you an overview of what Power BI looks like, I didn't want to do that same thing for TrinDocs, but I did want to let you know that we have a webinar that kind of does a deep dive into the TrinDocs version of Power BI that shows you those reports we just talked about, shows you real world examples and data, and that's here in the YouTube link. Of course, this presentation will be provided to you and your teams. Anyone that's registered here, feel free to pass that on however you'd like. And with that, we want to give the opportunity for Nicholas Unfortunately, I don't have your contact information here, Nicholas, but if you'd like to share that, I'd welcome you to hop back in here, and then we can wrap things up. And I see Nicholas has dropped it in the chat there, so thanks for that. njackson@trendsoft.com. Again, the purpose of what we're trying to do here today is to give you tools that help you make intelligent business decisions that will help you scale and grow with efficiency. And both TrendSoft and TrinDocs are focused on the SMB market. So people like you is who we're trying to help. And we do that all day, every day for lots and lots and lots of different users. We hope that you have interest in our Power BI solutions. We welcome you to reach out to us again. Nicholas, thank you so much for your time today and your help. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Thanks.